Is it going to work? Oh, everything's working. Looky there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sasquatch Shills. We're Sasquatch Shills, so you don't have to. I have a guest here tonight. He's actually showed up, and just in time, too. Let me tell you by the skin of his teeth. All right, so we got Dell and Lisa from 9 Acres Farm. We got both of them backstage over here. I'm sitting here looking at them. They're kind of peeping at me, kind of funny over here. And we got a couple of handfuls of folks in here already. We got at least 9 folks and a double handful chatting. So we're going to bring them up, get everything balanced out, and then we'll see where we stand on the whole.
Hey!
What is happening, brethren? How you doing,
What's
bud?
going on?
You've been busy today,
Great,
ain't you?
Great. It's crazy busy right now. But
that is the way it goes. That's with any farm, though. That's any time you're doing anything with dirt. If you don't stay busy at it, it doesn't get done.
It does not slow down at all. It's crazy busy.
But always.
Well,
you know, here
struggling,
buffering. We're high yield, mediocre, and aggressively average. You know, we're not trying to do anything amazing here. We're just trying to get through the next day, and it'll be fine. It's the way we work. It's the way we function.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
So I brought you in specifically for 3 reasons. 1, you are one of the most enthusiastic viewers I've ever seen in my life. You have an absolutely you have an absolutely amazing drive. When you find something you like, you really go for it, don't you?
Well, it's one of them deals that I'm very happy to be doing this, and the fact of the communitized effort in the homesteading community and YouTube just energizes me to no end. I love it. And then I think when you get to that point in your life when you are doing what you enjoy, it radiates to other people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I'm a very firm believer in people doing what makes them happiest. I believe if you do what you're passionate for and then you film yourself doing it with the passion you have for it, it'll show through and people will tune into that just to see how happy you are doing it, if no other reason. Right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of there's an audience for everybody pretty much no matter what you do.
I agree 100%. And the fact you touched on it exactly for us, and I know everyone else will see that or does, but maybe doesn't realize that that's why they steer away from a channel. But when the person's not real, that's, you steer away from it,
All right. Well, I'm going to let this play for a minute. I'm going to go through chat. We're going to say hey to everybody and see who showed up first, second, and when. Let's roll back. See where we at. All right. So Russell Sperry came in like way early, like way early. So we're going to give him a consolation prize for the early worm. But after that, as soon as it started, Car Thief News was here a little early. We got American Justice of Texas. We're going to go Car Thief News gets the gold, American Justice gets the silver, and Swizz Miz and Workline can show the silver. They're always second and third, give or take. That's because they love me. It's great. Let's see. We got MVTV, Montana Vigilante News. We've got Silly as I Wanna Be. Oh, yeah. We got Russell Sperry still here. That's good to know. He didn't chip out on me before the show started. That's awesome. Mr. Self-Destruction, Freedom Isn't Free. We've got the Seventh Son. I believe that's Son. Pretty sure that's Seventh Son. That's pretty good. That's pretty good moniker, brother. I like that. I'm gonna have to check out, see what you do on YouTube. That's a good one. Well, I welcome you with bread and salt. Let's see. I think that covers everybody. Toe for Life is here. It's good to see you, brother. And we got Belt Loop. Welcome to the show. He's probably gonna hop up here later in the After Dark section. He's not a previous guest, but he's managed to make it to most of them so far.
He's Gary's in a lot.
Yeah, that's what he does. I mean, you look at.
And he
I mean,
does a lot to.
I'm not going to say what his job is, but with what his job is, he kind of has a little spare time sitting around, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't do his job no
definitely a
better than not
conversation
watching
piece.
YouTube. Okay. All right. So when did you start your channel? How long ago was that?
I'm trying to.
Did you hear me?
I think
When
we're
did you start?
buffering here on us, so
Oh
we're trying
no.
to solve that here.
Okay.
Give me
I'm
just a
good.
minute.
I'm sure they'll work it out in no time.
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. I'm pretty sure everybody at home can hear you too. I think it's just us buffering. That might be on your end. I'm not sure. Yeah, keep poking at it. You'll figure it out. Then welcome to the Sasquatch show where everything goes wrong and nothing matters. we eat technical difficulties for breakfast. This is great. I love it. You see, I'm a firm believer. You're in there somewhere, dude. I can hear you.
Okay. I'm getting away from my Wi-Fi and going out, so country life here.
What, did you just lose your internet connection in the house? I hate it when that happens.
Well, my deal is we are internet via baling wire out here.
Oh yeah, pasta based.
We have very little internet.
I'm hip. Oh, dude, I've done these interviews. I did one with a guy holding a screaming puppy in his lap once. This is the least.
No kidding. So you're going to be out and about on the farm here because
better.
I get better internet out here.
Just how you like it.
So sorry.
Wow.
What was your question there?
My question was, how long have you been on YouTube? When did you start uploading?
How long? We actually, so if you look at my channel, it looks way older than it really is. I started a channel because I was taking classes through a college. Right. And the way that you submitted the assignments was through that channel. Okay. So I didn't really publish anything publicly until August of last year, actually. So we're coming up on a year old this year. But
that's pretty cool.
Or this August, I mean.
How many of my shows have you watched, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Do you know the format? Have you figured out how it works yet? You know what I'm fixing to do to you? No. All right. Well, it's not too evil. I'm not too bad. All right. So the way I do it is I go and I find your most viewed video. That's what's currently up now.
That's fine.
However, you have another video that got an awful lot of views too. It was one of your first ones. In fact, it was your very first one. So one of the things I do is I kind of consider myself a bit of a YouTube paleontologist. I go dig up the oldest video possible.
You know about cars? Yes, I'm a paleontologist. Oh, it's okay. There's dynamite in this place. I am a paleontologist. I'm a paleontologist. Paleontologist really, really old stuff.
Like crackers.
Because bad movies are funny.
Yes, they are. Bad movies are
yes, they are.
The worse they are, the better they get. It is a strange medium we work in. But usually when I do that, your first video. Do you remember what your first video, your first publicly available upload?
Yep.
So my man went
first upload.
Now he's got some music on here that I'm pretty sure is copyrighted all to wazoo. I'm almost positive. I don't know who it is, but it's pretty jammy. Go check it out. His first upload has some of the best music for mowing a field I've ever heard. It's excellent. But I'm not throwing it out right here. I've already thrown my copyright out the window with that intro. But sometimes I figure it's worth it. Now it should be a short. I believe as a short, that thing might get 20,000 views, right? And then
it should be a short, but
it's not. It's 28 seconds done in wide frame. because
Yeah,
it's wide frame, it doesn't
exactly.
qualify. So
Well, and so that very first video was not intentionally done wide frame.
right,
I I didn't know anything, and actually that comes across from another platform,
yeah,
and
it's got a little
I
TikTok
loaded it on there.
of it.
And I'm no longer on that platform, so
They do
at
something
all.
to you.
But
They touch you where your bathing suit covers.
the only platform, the only yeah. Sorry if I buff out here, but
No,
the
you're
only
pretty good.
platform I'm on now is YouTube. That's it. YouTube and face, you know, the
Yeah,
faces of a book. That's
yeah.
it. That's the only thing
Do
we're on.
Facebook.
But
I hate
yeah,
Facebook. I've been meaning to connect my live stream
uh,
to Facebook for months, and every time I sit down to do it, I just think about all of the real haters that I actually know being able to really hate on me for real.
yep,
And I'm like,
exactly.
all right, I'll do it next week.
Well, so
Pathways, welcome to the show. It's good to
a
see you.
little, yeah, a little more of that backstory of that. That very first video was, I'm doing the great task of mowing my pasture, which is like hours and hours of just sitting there, going
Pretty
around and around in a circle. And I'm like, you know, I think I can film this. So I did that and then put it to music. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. So that kind of started my journey. And at that point, after I released that, that's when I started thinking about um, telling a story about our farm, actually trying to, I'm not out here like creating a new rocket or anything like that, but there's a lot of people in this world that they don't know anything about our lifestyle here,
sure.
in the flyover states,
Yeah, don't take offense to that, man. I didn't mean
No, I love it
it.
because
It's just short and quick. Fly over fair. It'd be a great one.
yep, no, I think it's awesome because there's a lot of people that are disconnected from the flyover state world. They don't understand that we drive, I have to drive 30 plus miles just to go to work every day.
Right?
And that's not because I'm going to work for some great job a long ways away. It takes that far to get to my job. That's the nearest big city, Um, and we're not in extreme rural Kansas. We are just, that's just the way it is here, or the fact that when we go grocery shopping, we grocery shop for a month
Right?
because you never, especially in the wintertime, because you never know if you're going to, it may be a week with no power or that the road's out or something like that you can't even make it there, so the whole prepper thing and the whole, being sustainable and you know being able
Self-sufficient.
to live for an amount of time with what the resources you have, it just comes natural out in our country, but
No, I totally get it. I grew up on a tiny farm, and we raised most everything that wouldn't drown in a swamp. So we had pigs and dogs, and I think there might have been a cow
oh
once.
yeah,
I vaguely remember a donkey. There were a few goats that were running around. I don't think they were ours, but they were there. Um, so
uh-huh,
growing up, I did all of that stuff, like everything that it takes to maintain a homestead, from running well pipe and water
yeah,
line, running fence line and fence posts. My pops, you'll love this. My pops got so tired of us breaking. Now, I'm a big boy, and I've always been a fairly big boy. So he got so tired of us breaking post
yeah,
holes that he's had a set of metal ones with big, thick rolled aluminum
uh-huh,
handles made. And brother, let me tell you, ever since I used those post hole diggers, there is no chance that I can use a wooden pair today. I will rip that sucker slam apart.
oh no,
I will break it just as soon as I stick it in the ground and try
exactly.
to start, I'll break it. I'll just rip it apart.
So
Because
I
those
was
things
even
weigh
meaner.
90
I
pounds.
was even Yeah, exactly. I was even meaner to my sons because the wooden handle broke out of mine, and I took a piece of solid steel pipe and welded in
Mm-hmm.
there for handles. So it was a heavy son of a
It's
gun.
heavy, but listen,
But when you're out there,
yeah,
it works to your advantage,
it does.
when you learn how to operate it.
Now, I'm in
But
red clay country. So around here, you start digging a hole with a sledgehammer to break it up like bricks, and then you pull
yep,
out the chunk. Because if you go at it with something that cuts, it's just going to bounce off and laugh at you. It might break your foot.
yep.
Um, so
So
adding water,
out
that
here in
does
our country, exactly. It doesn't help you, does it?
just
That
bounce.
ground,
Boink.
that ground just blows my mind down there in you guys' country. It just,
Yeah,
here we are a foot. We are exactly 13. We're a foot and 1 inch, 13 inches from solid high quartz limestone.
wow.
And so we do a penny test on that when we go to drill a post hole with a hydraulic rock digger, that has
Right,
special bits and everything. And you drag the penny on that rock, and if the rock comes up from the penny, you know that you'll be able to drill it within
that
30
makes sense.
minutes.
Yeah, okay,
If the penny stays on the rock, you're there for an hour and a half or more.
right. Well, here's an interesting thing, just to kind of give folks a poke at how big this country is. Where I come from, I would kill for some of that limestone. I'd throw that crap out
Oh
right
yeah,
in my garden. It wouldn't be there a month.
yeah,
This boy would eat it up.
exactly.
It'd be great.
Yeah, we that's our kind of country. I mean, so we are a lot of people think of Kansas, they think flat as a pancake, and I know that you watch some of my videos so you can see what I'm talking about. We're
Oh
kind of
yeah,
hilly country. We're like the start of the Ozarks where we're at.
right.
So we go from really good farm ground to really good cattle ground to, populated areas. And generally we have a problem getting rid of water here for most of the year. Now, right now, we are dry. We've missed several rains, but
We were dry up until a
uh,
couple of days ago,
I
and
think
it
it's a
came in
great place in the
monsoonal
country.
hell. It just came in raining like a
Yeah.
cow on a flat rock, son. I mean, it was bodacious. But anyway, but it just filled everything up. It didn't even really run off a whole bunch.
Yeah,
Like, tss,
yeah, it
sorry.
didn't soak in and carry on, did it?
No. It was good. It was a good washer, though. It was. It cleaned up everything, got the world smelling like a wet armpit. But that's Georgia for you. That's just how that works. If you don't like the weather, give it a minute. It'll change.
Sorry.
Well,
Let me.
you got some plans going on with some friends of yours, right? You got some kind of a meet and greet going on or something? You was talking about it a little bit earlier on your live stream.
Yeah, so we are. Yeah, I talked about it in my live. So I have started along with two other channels. That's Gathered Together Homestead and Pathways Homestead. The
Pathways.
Gathered Together is
Yeah.
from Missouri. Pathways is from here in Kansas.
Hey, Mama, no.
And
Welcome to the
we
show.
have started a.
I'm sorry. I'm
We've
just saying hey
started
to people in the hobbyhead.
are going to
Can you do it?
host October the 1st. It's called Growing Towards Self-Sufficiency Gathering.
That's a good one.
So our whole point behind it is to help others learn how to grow their own food, how to become more self-sustaining, and it not only be a YouTube meetup where you can hook up and communicate with other people, but also so that you can learn while you're there. I've took part in meetups that were just meetups, and I don't really get a whole lot of it out of it other than, it's a good time and I meet some nice people, but I'm there to help teach others. That's the whole
Right.
point of our channel is for you to glean something from what we do. We like to have a lot of fun while we do it, but my whole goal is if I can help one person become more confident and self-sustaining, that's what we need. That's my goal is accomplished.
What's up, Bill? Good to see you. Violence is life. All right. So I'm fixing to throw you a little bit of a curveball. I am going to ask you an odd sort
Okay.
of question that only a person that's come from that type of background would have the information to care about. So, are you familiar with the
Okay.
term regenerative agriculture?
Am I familiar? Say that again because it buffered on me.
Regenerative agriculture. The idea, all
Regenerative
right, so
agriculture?
right,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So the idea in general is that each year you change things enough to introduce some additional variation in whatever crops you're doing so as to expand the use of the land while at the same time improving the quality of the soil itself, right? If you're doing
Exactly.
pastures, it's
Yes.
using different types of grasses in the right time of
Yep.
the year, stuff
Yep.
like that. If you're doing,
And using the right type of livestock on that to
right,
utilize it and benefit it at the same time.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Use and not overusing
I'm
it on
following you, man. I smell what you're stepping in.
right, exactly. So here's the thing. When I was coming up, the big draw for most people at the time was attempting to utilize their own uh source of manure on their own homesteading crop. And that was supposed to improve yield by some immeasurable amount or something. I don't remember
Oh yeah.
exact details.
Yeah.
So, as a byproduct, one of the things that happened is we had a chicken coop that got set up under a pear tree, and the pear tree dropped
Mm-hmm.
enough pears the following year that it crushed the chicken coop. We,
No way.
yes, it knocked a hole
What
right
a
in the top of it.
what an amazing problem to have.
It
I mean,
well,
that
yeah, no,
is
it ripped
awesome.
every limb out of that tree. I had pears big as your head, and it tore every limb out of that tree making pears. And after we moved the chicken coops for about
Wow.
5 years, the chickens refused to sleep anywhere except for in that pear tree. Even with a brand
Really?
new yeah, we set up a brand new pen with them a little bit away from the pear tree where it wouldn't be dropping, big old brain busters on 'em.
Uh-huh.
We had a few chickens killed by pears. Like, I'm not joking, I'm
No way.
killed by pears, yes. We'd walk out the next morning,
That's
there'd be dead
crazy.
chicken, back broken, 2-pound pear landed on it, killed it. And
I hate to laugh about something tragic,
I
but
know,
at the
but
same time,
what am I
the benefits of what they were doing is amazing, you know?
Oh, yeah, let me tell you, my senior year in high school, I made cognac. Yep, straight from the pear. We had so many of them, we didn't know what to do with them. I actually had a neighbor come by and back his truck up under that tree and pick the bed of that truck
Yeah.
full and leave, and then we had so many pears, we didn't know what to do with them. So, I ground them up into a big old 70, 80, 90, 100-gallon stainless steel pot, cooked it up, and made a horrible, horrible brew of popsicle that we ended up throwing away because it wasn't worth drinking. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Burned pretty blue though.
It was bad, huh?
It was bad. It was a bad go of it, but it was a good
That's
solid
awesome.
try. It was a technical attempt.
Yeah. That's such an abundant crop from regenerative ag, right? Because
Right.
you are stumbling across the basic principle of regenerative ag, and it's not a one system,
Right.
that you are utilizing to just rob that piece of ground from everything. You're using something that is beneficial to you, but yet for the betterment of that environment. That's exactly as stewards and what we're called to do.
There's a big difference
I
between
say things and
exploiting the ground and someone tending it. If you exploit it, you'll make some money off
yeah,
of it. And it'll benefit you, but it's going to go downhill quickly. There's a desert in Georgia that proves it. A little one. I know that sounds nuts. I think he might have froze up on me. Oh, he's back. There he is.
uh-oh,
No, you're good.
I'm back. I might have
We have
froze
an
up.
amazing amount of lag going on there. That is crazy. That's 18 seconds.
18-second lag? No
Uh-uh.
kidding.
It's hard.
But-
It's hard to deal with sometimes. But that's StreamYard
Yeah.
for you. There's a almost a minute lag between the
Yeah.
chat on YouTube and the chat on the StreamYard. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen it that bad when we stream also.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, I'm
But-
in a tiny town too, so my connection ain't exactly the best on earth. Although, ever since whatever happened the other day that knocked it out, our connection has been absolutely flawless. It's been amazing.
Really?
Keep up the-
Well,
Oh, it's
hopefully
been
that
good.
happens here because
I don't know what happened.
we fight it all the time here. Like I say, we have internet by baling wire. It is horrible
Right.
connection.
I always
We've
used to
tried
say
all
I'm
different types. Yeah. I'm
That's
trying
cool
to
t-shirt. I
come
like
back
that
in
shirt.
here. Well, thank you. I just got that. You can go check out our merch store and get one.
Yeah, it's pinned in the comments over there, and it's going to be dropped in the description of the video after I do the edit. And I'm going to get Phoenix Rising's video up here in the next couple of days. I had some issue getting the sound to work in my shotcut. Some kind of update didn't happen right, so I had to like back up to a previous version and re-update it. Seems to be fine now. I don't know for sure. I got that done right before we went live, so we'll see. I'm gonna try to get that done in the next couple of days. That one and this one, and I've got another Captain Curmudgeon, which I have queued up to go right after this video. It's coming in Saturday, and I'm hoping to line something up for next week, and maybe we won't even have us chilling with Sasquatch this week. That'd be cool.
What?
Well, I mean, chilling with Sasquatch happens when I have a guest that backs out or something goes wrong, or
well,
like,
I told everybody, Lisa and I talked, and I'm like, I've got to make sure I'm there because me and the Sasquatch, man, we're brothers, and we gotta hook up. I wanted to be on your channel. We've been watching some of your stuff. We really enjoy it.
I'm glad.
And
I try to do different stuff. I mean, it's not for everybody, but the approach I'm taking is different channels, different families, different communities, different groups. That's
bingo. And that, to me, that's the whole secret. It's like you and I were in together on a panel, and it's just exactly like we talked in there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody tries to put themselves in this box, Dale and Lisa are homesteaders, because they're farmers because their channel says farm. Well,
right.
I don't sit around and watch nothing but that. I'm a hunter. I'm a fisherman. I'm a gearhead, I'm a mechanic by trade. I'm into watching rock crawling. I'm into watching interview channels and stuff like that. And the whole fact of becoming diversified is the whole point in the whole thing, and like I conveyed in a live panel that I was involved in with Kettle Kitchen, Tony, during that was food is the one thing, it doesn't matter what you're into, touches all of our lives.
Yep.
So just because I'm a farmer and talk about food, that doesn't mean I can't have a conversation with someone who is in a urban environment or, a large city, because that container garden in the window of their apartment where they're just raising basil to mix in with their food or thyme or something like that, you're doing your part to make sure that you are sustaining your own lifeblood,
Exactly.
And just connecting ourselves with our food throughout that cycle. So yes, I raise pigs just like you grew up on the farm, raising pigs and livestock and chickens and things like that. But our channel, what we're trying to convey with it is the fact that we're not out here with some factory, pumping this full of drugs like has been in the mainstream media and things like that. We're out here just doing the best we can to give that animal the best life possible for one bad day, because not only is it...
I don't know, dude. I don't know. How bad of a day is it to live up to your purpose?
Agreed 100%. You took it right out of my thoughts.
You serve
your purpose. Exactly.
Most of these animals would not exist. Their entire breeding and approach in existence is to feed humans. So any approach coming that says, "Oh, that's an unnatural process." I'm sorry, you're going to have to back up 40,000 years of selective breeding with an argument
Exactly.
that makes sense. Because I'm not.
Exactly. And I mean, if you are one of faith, you take that back far enough, it's
Oh,
from
yeah.
creation, eat of everything, of the animals, everything. You eat of everything. And I tell the story a lot of times. My children, they showed animals, would take them and show them at a fair and shows like that. So they
Right.
spent an extended amount of time with those animals, pampering them, brushing them,
That
making sure they
also that
fed to
also
the
involves picking the breed and picking the type of thing. So,
yeah,
like with pigs, you've got what, like 8 different breeds that are typically used in the U.S. and 4
8
are large.
large breeds. Yes, you're
Right.
exactly right.
Right.
And
So
so that kind of thing. And then, at the end of it, they were proud about the fact that that animal was going in our freezer, and how well of a job they did taking care of it and raising it, and then the nourishing their body, and how good of a life they gave that animal. When you get connected like that, it makes you a whole different person.
I have a
At the
really
end,
stupid story about raising some pigs one time, and it's a real belly shaker. All right. So right after I'd been out working in the field for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, they'd gotten rid of all the pigs. We weren't breeding any dogs. It was a defunct farm at this point. Nobody's
oh
really
yeah,
doing anything.
yeah.
I come home on the last weekend of work. I'm waiting for my paycheck to show up, and I look out in the backyard, and there's a handful of these little they're like the prairie pigs. I can't remember what they're called. Kurashimi.
Oh
Something.
yeah,
I can't remember what they're called. They're a little Japanese breeding pig, right?
Cooney
There's like
Cooney.
5 or 6 of them running around in my backyard out there, and I'm like, "Hey, pops, pig pen still solid?" He's like, "Yeah." Okay. So I go out here with the bright idea of catching a couple of these piglets, right?
Yeah.
I get me a little bucket of barley, and I go out there and I toss it out on the ground. Piglet walks over. I bend over to pick up the piglet. And do you have any idea how much a piglet weighs?
Oh yeah.
25, 30, 40 pounds. You ever
25,
try to
30.
pick up 20 pounds out stretched like this? It's not as
It
easy as it looks.
No, it's
He
not
wouldn't have done
easy.
that. This piglet ran away squealing, of course, straight to mama. And me being drug along behind it and not wanting to follow my face ends up doing that high step, like, look like and
Exactly.
of course, eventually I fell on my face, but not before I pushed him into the little cubby over there. Got him closed in, and then mama and the rest of them wouldn't leave. And I went around and checked and tried to find somebody on some pigs that were missing, and nobody
Yeah.
come claim them. So we keep them for like
Uh-huh.
a year and a half. One of
Yeah.
these pigs grows up named Herman's, got a big old lightning bolt like Harry Potter across his nose.
No way.
On July the 3rd, my neighbor shows up. We were going to cook him on the 4th. We'd already lined everything up, had it all. I built the pit and everything, right?
Yeah.
225-pound hog going on a grill on January 4th. Done told everybody.
Oh yeah.
Neighbor shows up. Hey, think you might have had a death in the family. What you talking about? He's like, we just loaded up your pig. He was down there at my house eating my mama's flowers, and somebody come down the road, saw the pig, and shot him in our yard. We helped him load him up. And
No way.
I didn't think about it later. It might have been your pig. And I was like, my family has a history about pigs. He said, yeah, I know. I figured I should probably come tell you myself. I was like, yeah, okay.
No way.
I ended up having to slaughter one of the smaller pigs for the 4th of July. His name was Football, and I spent 14 hours out there smoking him, eating little pieces going, man, I love Football.
Exactly.
Barbecued him up. It was delicious, dude. It was one of the most amazing pigs I ever cooked.
So I have a quick story kind of like that
What?
our friends that showed with us, they had a lot of show pigs, and they had a daughter. She was like 9 or 10 years old, and one of the show pigs, of course, got hurt. So they just put it in a pen. It couldn't show anymore, and they started feeding it out. And then they had a big cookout, and they roasted the whole pig like you're talking, And I'm trying to remember, this pig's name was like Sally. And so this little girl, we're talking 9-10-year-old girl, she walks up there. We take this pig out of that smoker and we put it on this great big picnic table. And all these kids just attack it like a vulture. You know, they're just all over it, just eating away. And that little girl looked at her dad and she goes, "Hey, Dad, this is the best Sally's ever been in her whole life." I looked at my friend and I said, "That's how you know you raise your child right.
She's
when
gonna
they
be
can appreciate the fact, you know."
Yep.
But
Oh yeah. Well, it was a little disconcerting to my now
Oh.
wife. Wife Squatch was a city raised kid, and she didn't really understand all that farming stuff. And none of that made no sense. I mean, I want to point out, when I say farming, we had there were 200 acres of just untracked wilderness in our backyard.
oh,
So we trained a handful of pigs to come back when you ring a bell and just turn
Oh,
them
yeah.
loose. Just let them go.
oh
Right?
yeah,
We'd ring a
free
bell.
range pigs.
We'd medicine them up and feed them, and that's how we kept them coming back to the place. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, I mean, you want to cook a pig? We go ring the bell.
sounds like heaven to
We
me.
cook what shows up. But there's some guys out there that have kind of sort of developed that land a little bit now. They've dried it out a little bit. Not quite as cool as it once was. It ain't lonely no more. I used to be the only person out there.
And a lot of our country has kind of went that way. You know, those areas like that used to be just this untamed, you know, has become populated. Of course, it's going to. You know, we wouldn't be in this country if it wasn't for populating areas like that. You know,
That's true.
But it's so cool. Like my piece of ground here, the 9 acres. When we got this piece of ground, you know, it had been overgrazed. It had been treated very bad, you know, things along that line. And
Right.
the amount of just, you know, growth and beauty that has happened on our place since, you know, we started putting a few practices. You know, we make sure we put grass back in the ground. We don't overgaze it. We actually burn. So a lot of people are afraid of like wildfires and stuff like that. Well, in this country,
That
we
depends on where
burn
you're at.
exactly because the ash benefits our ground. You know,
Well,
that
out where I'm from, you light up a fire, it's only going to burn over there to the creek or over here to the creek,
exactly.
there to the creek, or right over here to the beaver pond or to the road, and that's it. It's over. You're done.
But you go out in the West, out there where they're so dry and no humidity, I fully understand why fire is a bad thing. But at the same time, with a little bit of fire, you know, it happened before we ever got here. Before man ever stomped this country, lightning would strike and it would
be clear
catch
about
on
that.
fire.
Before Columbus came here, the Native Americans utilized fire as a
Bingo.
primal part of their farming method.
Exactly.
It can be argued that there is not a square foot of North or South America that doesn't actually represent a permagarden. Rather,
Bingo.
we're missing both elms and American chestnuts, beech trees. There's a whole list of nut trees that no longer exist in our forest because of European disease. Before Columbus came, an American North American forest was one of the most vibrant nut producers on earth. I know that sounds a little funny coming from a furry guy, but hear me out. We had American chestnuts. We had American walnuts. We had dark walnuts. We had pecans. We had all sorts of unimaginable different berries and stuff, gooseberries, featherberries, downberries, huckleberries, all kinds of stuff.
Hackberry trees and mulberries and stuff
there
like
are
that.
huckleberry bushes back behind my pop's house that are 17 feet tall.
Yeah.
They've been there for 300 years if they've been there a day. And you cannot tell me that that was not a beneficial resource for the local population.
Exactly.
So our modern farming practices may not be the best for the environment, but they are certainly effective. What we need to do is modify the farming practices to represent our desires for the future, not our desires for the past.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people, so I grew up in big ag, you know, I don't make a secret about it. And by big ag, I mean we had, several hundred head of cattle, and we farmed, close to 1,000 acres. But a lot of people will really villainize the American farmer. But what a lot of people don't understand about the American farmer is he's out there starving to death, just trying to do what he can do just to get by. You know what I mean? And make a living. And their hand is forced by a lot of their practices. Now, do not get me wrong. We're talking a very small minority that practice things that are really bad.
Right.
The great majority are exactly like you and I are talking about. They are out there trying to do the best they can sustainably, to do permaculture type practices, to do crop rotations, to help build the ground better. Because what does it do for them? It helps them on their bottom line and their input costs. The problem that we run into is when we start getting into this great big, it becomes a bank or corporate owned situation.
Right.
That's when we start getting into problems.
Start making decisions based on money and not based on what's best.
Bingo. Exactly. Right.
All right. Well, one of the things that I want to point out about the modern methods of agriculture, most of the places where modern agriculture falls short is in not combining different aspects of revenue. If you have a chicken farm, it's 200 million chickens. If you have a pig farm, it's 200 million pigs. That's all well and good until you start gathering up all the poop, and you got to find somewhere to put it. And then you
got to go somewhere with it.
Exactly. On waste processing plant, just like you would in a city to process pig poop. On the other hand, a small farm can produce nowhere near the volume of a big factory farm, but the concept is similar, and the distances are smaller. You can haul the pig poop from one place where it's not useful to a place where it is useful without actually generating any actual waste from that process.
We utilize our pigs, move them on our ground, so we're getting the benefit from the poop or the back end, for fertilizer.
And
they're doing us a job because they're rooting and they're disturbing
really
it.
To bedrock. Then that pig is one of the best things. Pigs and ducks, things like that, actually build the turf over the soil, over the rock.
Exactly.
We have heavy clay. So when we build soil, typically we try to minimize how much clay gets into the soil. So one of the best ways is to put a pig on top of it, throw a couple of ducks in there with it, flood it for a couple of months, you're good.
Oh, yeah.
You have a garden in no time.
So the other thing is like we take those pigs and for a short time, we will put them where we're going to garden.
Right.
And then we will throw, they'll tear down those weeds, those grass. We'll throw more additional hay in on top of that because a lot of people don't realize pigs like to eat grass and hay. They like a varied diet also. And then that helps build up that soil. We take them off of that. Either they go to freezer camp or they move on down the line. And then we turn that into a garden spot. Or I use the 1050, my tractor, and I push that all up. And then I pile that up. And then I take that compost and feed our raised bed gardens with it,
Have you played with any aquaponics at all? Have you messed with
We haven't. No, not yet. We haven't.
When you get into that, let me know. I'll give you whatever tips I got because I built a system.
No kidding.
It's been a headache, and I never have actually got it to flush and properly drain like it's supposed to. But I think that was operator error, not mechanical error. I ordered the wrong part, and now that I know it, I can fix it. But I got to do it, and to do it, I got to take it apart.
Yeah,
and that thing is massive.
So do you have fish in with it and everything else?
I have bluegill, and I have a small koi display tank for my koi and tropical fish stuff. Yeah, I actually don't do any content based on that. It's so much a pain in the ass to work with. I don't feel like setting up the camera beforehand. It's just
I understand.
I can't touch the camera. Once I start working on it, I'm wet. And so I can
Yep.
no longer touch the camera. So if I don't get it right to start with, it's not going to be right, and then it's wrong, and I don't use it. So,
Bingo.
you know,
Bingo.
but
Well, that's me. I don't touch the camera a lot because on certain projects, just because I got to get the job done.
right.
I just can't deal with it. I
I
mean,
get-
I need to film more of what I do, but I only have so many hours in the day, and I just got to get the job done. You know.
Oh yeah. And that's really, when it comes to channels like yours, that's probably one of the biggest holdbacks to producing massive amounts of content, is the fact that that's an extra 45 minutes to get the camera set up.
Yeah.
Then you find out it's not in the right spot. Yeah, you go out there, you break everything up, you get it running, you go to drive out, you go, wait a second, that's not right. It'd be better over
Exactly.
here. Maybe the next spot.
It's funny to me that you're playing that particular video of mine right now, because that video is like 3 to 4 videos long. Most of them are 10 to 15 minutes long.
Right.
And that equals like 10 hours worth of film.
Exactly. I've got this thing I'm wanting to do, right? Here in the next maybe month. I'm kind of waiting on a particular threshold to pass where I can spend some money on the channel, so I can like explain it makes sense that I actually spent the money. I don't want to do it without having at least some kind of reason behind it. But I'm going to get me a tiny little vehicle, and I'm going to build me like a little pop-up tent on back on a trailer, right? I'm going to get me like a little 12 by 8, 12 by 9 trailer, something like that. I'm going to build a little pop-up tent, like 4-wall canopy job. And it's mainly going to start with going to resurrect the vehicle, whatever it ends up that I end up getting. I'm going to film the whole process of going in there because it's going to be in a barn somewhere or under a pile of tin or something like that. And I'm going to go in there and try my best to document what it takes to reincarnate a mid-90s vehicle out of a ditch somewhere.
Exactly. That's awesome content.
Yeah, it's great. Problem is, it's going to take 2 hours ahead, 2 hours behind, and 40 hours of editing.
Exactly.
Hopefully a little bit of time lapse and stuff like that. That would be
well, and that's
here's the best part. If I get that done and all that works, I'm going to come see all of my previous guests and knock on your door and be like, Sasquatch found you. How do you feel about that?
Exactly. I'm good with it.
Awesome. It's going to be fantastic.
But
more beer. All right, so I'm going to do a quick review on something. My wife Squatch bought me one of these stupid little Dr. Pepper cooler refrigerator doohickeys, right?
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, man, I didn't expect it to be worth a darn, but with the way I've been streaming here lately, before I start the stream, I just load it up with drinks, leave them in there overnight, and they are almost frozen cold. They are amazing.
Really?
I thought it would have been crap. You mess with it, you tinker with it. It don't weigh nothing. It ain't got hardly. I don't know how it does it, but I'll tell you this: there's this weird little thing in the back of the refrigerator, and if you don't touch the cans to it, it doesn't cool them. And this is the weird part. It does. They'll be cool, but not cold. If you take 2 Red Bulls and stick them in the back where they're both touching it, and then touch 2 cans to those 2 regular Dr. Pepper cans, it'll damn near freeze the whole stack. It just takes it a while to do it. You got to leave it closed. You can't be opening it and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. I wasn't impressed with it at first, but it's been about a year, I guess, I've been using it, and I hadn't had to have a big cooler next to me back here streaming, so that's cool.
Heck yeah. So do you have it in an Amazon with an affiliate link? So
I have none of that. I'm not doing any of that till I break 1,000 subs.
I don't blame you.
Once all of that happens, it's going to be probably more than I can deal with. You know,
I had some people that told me to go ahead and do that, so I went ahead and added it on my channel. It's probably going to fall off because I don't push it. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing about that. You have an average. I've been looking at your videos for a minute, and you have an average of about 150 hardcore followers. You'll have 30 or 40 of those that'll buy t-shirts, right? if you can expand your channel into different genres, that'll be another 2 or 3 per community you enter that'll buy t-shirts. That's not a whole lot of t-shirts, man.
No.
So here's my question. When you do something like that and they don't sell, do you get stuck with the t-shirts?
Yeah.
Always wondered.
Not this one. This I done through, and maybe you don't want me to say it, but it's through a link. If you look at our link, the name is in it. It's Teespring.
Okay.
But that's
fine.
a print on demand. So you just go there. They house the inventory when that person creates an order, fan, whatever you want to say. Me, when I place that order, then they print it and then they ship it,
Oh, that's cool. I was actually looking at this place up in North Carolina. I got a YouTube buddy of mine works over there, and he was talking, well, you got a choice. You can either do the Teespring thing, or you could do a different method where you just outright buy the t-shirts and then.
So I'm looking into that,
themselves.
but like you said, you gotta pay for that inventory.
Right. So I was thinking about getting like maybe 100, 150, something like that, whatever a minimum order is. It might be 400. I don't know. They're a pretty big place. But getting like a limited run and then change my icon every year. Just make 200 t-shirts or whatever a year that you actually expect to either sell or give away.
Yeah.
Right? That way it's useful to the channel regardless of whether the link works or not. It's already covered.
Well, and if you notice, our logo has changed 3 times in 1 year.
Right.
We kind of found one that we liked. I don't like that as much, so we found another one that we liked. And now we've kind of settled.
That's pretty cool.
We've settled on our brand now because we drew it ourselves. We like it, and it kind of represents us instead of someone else.
Well, I straight stole mine off of Google, and then I fiddled with it in some like Mario paints or something. I don't know. I fiddled with it. I made it unique and original, and I took it, and it kind of looks like me too, which is helpful.
It does.
It does kind of resemble me. It's a little scary sometimes. What's really funny is when people haven't seen me and they've only seen my avatar, and then they see me and they're like, "Oh my God! Oh, wait, okay."
Yeah, you kind of look like it.
Did you draw yourself for this? No, I'm a terrible artist. I can't do anything like that. I'm no good at any of it.
But
oh, baby. Where is it at? That's not it. That's the one. All right, I got one more little video I'm gonna play out before we dip up out of here on the end of the show.
Okay.
Is there any channels you want to shout out? Anybody you watch that you've got a bunch of people over here in chat that's come through. I can't even keep track of them.
And I've not even been paying attention to chat, but some channels that I really think do a lot of good things. Of course, my channels in the gathering, the growing towards some sustainable, gathering, Gathered Together Homestead, Pathways Homestead. I think those are great channels. We have family members. We don't have subs. So anyone that I interact with that I'm talking about, I try to shout out channels as much as I can. If I see somebody live, I'm going to go in and I'm going to share them. Some other 2 great channels that I think are really knocking and doing some great things right now. Kettle Kitchen, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Kettle Kitchen. He had the Jam It Up June collaboration.
Yeah.
And then Mitchell with Hendrickson Family Farms. I mean, that dude is out there in everybody's lives. He's really trying to do great things. It's the same way, Eddie with Devil Dog. He's in everybody's, I can go on and on. Jesse at Lazy Days Ahead and Brenda, at Redbird Farm. Those are some of our mods that just do. Simply Jan, she's not very far from us. She does a great job. But I hate to really get into just shout because I can't stop. All these people have helped us along the way. Exactly.
I've got like 50 podcasts or so. I don't even know how many channels I've interviewed. I know they're not all available. YouTube took some of them down, no explanation. I took some of them down because of things. Like some of them are really bad. My sound is horrible. Nobody wants to see it anyway. That kind of stuff.
Some people have really bad internet connection in there, like me.
That kind of stuff. I I interviewed one dude sitting in his parking lot at the place where he worked because he had better internet there than he did at home.
Yeah.
It's all good. It ain't no
That's
big
the reason why we go live usually. Why we go live from the farmer's market, because I know I got good internet there, generally.
That's cool, Beans. And I really dig your little farmers market in America thing.
Yeah.
I think we might be able to pull off a verification on that.
Oh, really?
I live in a very small town, and I know of even smaller towns. In fact, there is a ghost town not far from here, and not even it has a smaller farmers market. There's a guy that sells sugarcane on the corner that's bigger than yours.
I know.
He sells nothing but sugarcane in a ghost town.
But we have just started it, so it's like,
oh, that's glorious, dude. It's great. It won't do nothing but grow. I mean, that's what plants do, right?
That's exactly.
Great ideas, they just grow.
They just continue growing. That's right.
Exactly. All right, so I got this video from next week's, or actually Saturday's guest. It is Captain Curmudgeon. He was actually suggested by another viewer, Queen Bee. Probably doesn't want me to mention her name, but I just did, and there it is. Now we all got to live with it. You, me, everybody that knows about it. So,
yep.
I'm going to play this. He's got this little bit that he does, and he does it in it's like two videos that are edited together to make one. And so one will have like a particular topic at the beginning, and then the end will be a different topic, and they're a little different. The front of this video is, I think I covered in I might have covered the last time I was live. I'm not sure, but this end of it's new. And he's got this wonderful little intro for himself that it does more than I could possibly do.
From high atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where we wish America a happy 246th birthday by telling her she doesn't look a day over 25, her magnificent heaving bosom still defies gravity, and you can still bounce an ass off that quarter, or a quarter off that ass, as the case may be. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. Welcome to the program. I'm your eponymous host and humble servant. And I guess it was asking too much that our president and vice president should hold their noses for one weekend, even one day, and pretend not to revile our country on its birthday. Now, President and semi-animated cadaver Joe Biden spent most of the week in Europe, and in the continuing spirit of giving credit where it's due, I'm going to say good job, Joe, for not pooping or farting on any world leaders this time around that we know of.
And it just keeps going.
I think
y'all are missing it. If y'all haven't checked out Captain Curmudgeon, it's very much like Dennis Leary and Dennis Miller had an angry love child, and he voted for Trump. That's what it's like. Hey man, guess what?
What?
You did a show.
Awesome.
That's the whole thing, man. All we got left is I'm gonna take you off the screen for a second. I'm gonna talk to the audience for a second. I'm going to play us out, and then we'll be in the after dark. You can stick around, hang out with us. I'm going to drop the link in chat. Anybody can come up. Previous guests and future guests are preferred. But yeah, that's the show. You did it. Congratulations.
Awesome.
I'm very proud of you.
I get a gold star.
You got anything you want to tell everybody before we go out?
No, man. Thanks for reaching out to me. I have been enlightened, and I love communicating with you and seeing you in our lives, man. It's awesome.
Actually, you're probably responsible for the last 15 or 20 of my subscribers, if I had to guess. I'm not even in the past like 2 weeks or so. Your shout outs seemed now I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a direct result of you going, hey, this dude's over here is doing something different.
Yeah. And I love it.
A certain type of channel that comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not your normal type channel. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I hope more reach out and do this kind of thing is what I'm hoping, But
all right.
I
appreciate it, brother. I'll see you in a minute.
Brother.
All right. Well, that's pretty much the show. Bigfoot Anon, Show Me State News, Chris Manley, Freaky Geek, Car Thief News, the illustrious Swiss Miss. We're welcoming everybody to the cool side of the pillow. We got ATL Audits, Freaky Geek, MVTV, Oils and Wellness with Marsha. Let's see, who else we got? We got anybody else hiding out up there? Violence is Life. All right, I think we covered everybody. If I missed you, I missed Snark and Sash. She come in. I saw her. I saw her with my own eyes. Cammed up caveman's in here. It's good to see you too, brother. But I want everybody to know, if you happen to find a channel on my channel, if you find somebody else that you're willing to listen to, you're willing to give a few minutes and check them out, and it happens out that you enjoy the content, you tell them Sasquatch sent you. Most of them have no idea who I am. It'll be hilarious if they ever find out. I'll laugh, and maybe I'll mention it to you, and you can laugh. Now, I couldn't get the audio from me trying to get my roof done as Mr. Sasquatch. I'm still working on it, but they're pretty steadfast that it's against company policy to release those things. But we'll see exactly how hard they resist when they show up to do the roof. Assuming I haven't been screwed out of like 14 grand, we'll see. I'm hoping that's not the case, but you know, modern internet being what it is, what can you do? So I'm gonna press this button over here. We're gonna roll out. I'm gonna do exactly what it is this man over here tells me to do. Oh, let me turn that off. I got too many stuff running over here. I'm gonna turn that off. I need to keep that on. Where's it at? Now we got outro. It's too much stuff. Too much stuff. Oh, there it is.
This is my gift to Sasquatch, and also to myself. When Sasquatch signs off, he always says, "So here you go, mate. There's nothing left for me to do, really, but this." Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I love it. Thank you, Richie. It's good to see each and every one of you in here. I love each and every one of you like a brother and a sister. I really appreciate y'all's time. We're going to get in here in after dark in a minute. Start talking to each and every one of you however we like. There's witnesses. All right. That's enough of that crap. We're done. I swear it'll end in a second. Not even joking.
Oh, Sasquatch? Oh, yeah, he's like the Sandy Waxler of YouTubes.
Next time he'll get his own ketchup.